Gig Gab, episode 511 for Monday, December 8th. Pretend to be a time traveler day 2025. We're kind of time traveling. We're recording this now. You're listening to it now. That's different. I don't know. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Gig Gab, the show by, for, and about working musicians. Our sponsor today is rula.com/giggab, where you can connect with quality therapists and mental health experts who take your insurance. We will talk more about that in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton. And my guest today, I'm joined by Sean Monahan from Gale Bird, straight out of Charleston, South Carolina, I've learned. These guys have built a sound that swings from like big soaring rock moments to those tight, harmony-laden songs that hit you right in the feels. They put in the work, growing an audience of thousands and racking up 250,000 streams this year while juggling all the things that we juggle: family, jobs, marriage, the realities of being a working band in 2025. Sean Monahan, thank you for joining us today.
Dave, great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, absolutely. No, this is going to be a blast. I listened to some of your stuff, and I like it. It is like you write and produce great songs. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you so much, man. We've had a great time. It's just been an incredible blessing to be able to be a part of this. And Gale Bird is myself and a couple named Josh and Melissa Gale, and we've been going at this for a while, and we're loving it.
Okay. All right. Interesting. How long, like, how did things start? That's an interesting dynamic too. Like there's politics potentially here. So yes.
Yeah. This band started in college. So maybe 15 or so years ago for us. Me and Joshua, the lead singer, we were in the same state, but in different colleges, and had similar groups of friends and got connected, started trying some writing, trying some gigging around, and it was kind of a semi-serious thing. We were still, in school and doing stuff.
Sure.
We started a little bit of traveling. We were going up to Florence and Wilmington, doing some stuff locally in Charleston. And then right after we got out of college, we both got married to our wives. He's got 4 kids. I have 2 kids. So we took like a 13-year break. And
wow.
I was still pursuing music, but he was involved in a lot of things. Both of us still play in music. We're both involved with our churches, but then he was involved with all sorts of different jobs. And about 2 years ago, he reached out to me and just was saying, I think it's time. I think we need to bring this thing back. So we got in touch with the local studio, started working with them, and within a couple singles of us, getting those put together, a label approached us locally and asked if we'd be interested in a contract. So we signed with them, and they've been covering the production and the releases. And we've been trying to see how we can make this work with, kids in the mix and the family. And it's been an adventure,
Okay, so this is, there's some perfect cliches like happening here. You went to different schools together. And then things ended, and then you literally got the band back together. Like you did all the things. This is amazing. How effectively, I realize that you and Joshua obviously have this history that dates back to college, but and certainly I'm assuming some of the songs even date back to the songs you wrote in college. But you've got a 2-year-old band here. Effectively. I realize there's an asterisk on that, but you've got a 2-year-old band here, and you've made some fantastic progress in 2 years. I always say I've started a lot of businesses, and some of them just take off right away, and others, have that slow burn. I've had more. If you look at it objective, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but it can be said that there is more success in the ones that start off very quickly. And sometimes maybe the advice is, if it doesn't start off quickly, move on to something else.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping that's the case, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like you really, this is amazing. Okay, so how you glossed over? There's a little bit of yada yada in here. It's like, oh yeah, 2 years ago we did this, and then we got a label interested in us. That's not exactly how things work. So let's talk about the yada yada in the middle there. Like, how did you? Clearly, you have the experience of having a job and understanding how to treat something like a business. So let's talk about that. How did you start something and get so much interest so quickly?
That's a great question. I think, we're taking a different path than a lot of musicians in that, we started with the family and now we're trying to build this business. It is a business and it's a passion of ours, but in a lot of ways, I think a lot of musicians maybe miss out on that concept of, to be able to produce art that is digested by as many people as possible. There are business aspects that you have to navigate.
Yes.
And I think that's important. But so we're very fortunate in that maybe we don't have as much time on our hands because of our family, commitments, but
sure,
we've both been involved in a lot of different things that made this very efficient. So I've been full-time musician since college. So I've been gigging around town. I've been producing for a lot of artists and playing with a lot of local groups. And so I know that world well, the live music scene. I've made a lot of contacts in it. I know who to call if our drummer's sick. All those little things. I know the guys to get in the studio, the ones that are going to, it's a different environment. So the ones that are going to perform better with a click and headphones that, maybe I wouldn't want on the live show, but I need them on the track.
Yep.
Knowing all that stuff going into it, having a really firm grasp of what production looks like, so that when we're in the studio, we're immediately impressing people that are there. So we have, an engineer and an executive that's a part of a lot of our sessions that are seeing what we're doing. And then we're also fortunate Josh is his history. He's been playing music for a long time, but he's also been anything you can imagine. He worked at a church for a while. He was in marketing for a couple large companies. He's done website design. He sells custom rings. He is just, I think, an excellent salesman. I think that at the end of the day, he's a go-getter and he understands aesthetics and marketing. And so for us to combine those two things, I think we're just kind of just the perfect chemistry. So in signing with this label, they saw the potential of us. They knew that we were going to work hard. They knew that we were going to be able to approach the business from different aspects and capture all of it. And then they liked our sound. And so it's been a great relationship. They're called Holy City Music. They've been incredible to us. We're very grateful for them and hoping for another great year next year, 2026.
Okay. Thank you, because the yada yada makes sense now, right? Your label, to start at the end and work backwards, your label invested in the two of you because they saw people that they believed would deliver success. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, oh my gosh, these songs are amazing. Let's take these unseasoned musicians, these unseasoned business people, and drag them through it, which is what so many people they think of as sort of the romantic idea of the record label that finds, the 17-year-olds in a band that wrote a hit song, and they're going to, just drag them through it and probably take advantage of them financially and all that stuff too, right? Like, so there's the not so romantic side of it. But with you, this was more like it was a business decision, like an investor would come in or a venture capital person would come in, right, and say, okay, for anybody who hasn't ever even experienced the VC world, they rarely invest in your idea because of your idea. They invest in your idea because of you, the people or person, right? And that's exactly what you're saying happened here, and makes perfect sense. You've got, one person with all the right connections, the other person with all the right drive and marketing savvy, and together they happen to write great songs and perform well. So it's the whole package.
Yeah, and I think as a musician, it's helpful to understand that if someone like a label is wanting to invest in you, or a restaurant, they want to get you there, they're thinking dollar signs. They're not thinking how good your music is. It could be the best stuff in the world, but at the end of the day, they got bills to pay. And so I think regardless of what stage you're playing, I think there has to be that in the back of the head of understanding, like, this is entertainment at the end of the day. As much as I love what I'm doing and I'm passionate and my songs mean a lot to me, and I hope they mean a lot to the audience, I got to understand that if someone's investing in keeping me on a stage, they need to see the return. And so our relationship with the label has been great too, because I've kind of helped. I've started helping produce some of the other artists for the label, and Josh has helped with some of the website design and content, and it's a very mutual relationship. You know? We want to help them succeed, and they want to help us succeed, and that just kind of helps everybody, you know.
Yes. No. Okay. This all makes perfect sense. That's amazing, and what a great business partner you have in Joshua.
Absolutely.
I mean, it seems like the two of you are a very good match, because you obviously get along and can work together, but part of that is because you bring different skills and assets to the table, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, I love this. And I also love, the part of your 2-year sort of the yada yada story is that I often joke, overnight success takes about 20 years, right? And in your case, that seems to be about right. You both built this thing up and then put it into a form that was marketable and packageable and all of those things, and here you are.
Yeah, so we're not just lucky. I think that I do feel like, I'm very grateful. We're very blessed in a lot of ways in life.
Yes.
But at the same time, you're exactly right. This is years of hard work and pushing and, failed businesses in the process of this one, finally succeeding. Yeah,
that succeeds. Yeah, nobody sees the failures. No, you do. I see mine. Yeah. But
exactly.
that's the key is that, I always say when people ask me, what's the trick, or sometimes they don't ask what's the trick. What they want is they come in with an idea and they ask me to partner with them because they think I have some sort of magic fairy dust that I can sprinkle on their idea and make it go. And I tell them, okay, well, this is great. Now we have to figure out who's going to do what. And then we're both going to work about 80 hours a week on this thing for, 1 to 5 years. And then we're good. Like, I think this thing can fly. It's a decent enough idea. I always say, if you want your idea to be worth $100, write it down on a $100 bill. Ideas aren't worth anything without execution, right? And so, but a lot of people don't want to hear that. But that's what makes
it hard work.
It is hard work. But the plan is simple. It's not easy. It's simple. It's just do the work every single day. And I think that's an important lesson for anybody in business to learn, and a working musician is in business. So
and not being afraid of taking the step, because the failure taught me and prepared me for the one that succeeded. So every single one, none of it was wasted.
No.
Everything is building to the next thing.
Yes. Yep. We say, I do another show called Business Brain, and on that show we say that mistakes are our tuition. So
I like that.
That's how we justify paying for them, and then we can sleep at night. Yep. But I like this. Failure prepares you for what's next, and it does. Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Absolutely.
Any favorite? Now, while we're on the subject, I have to ask.
Ooh.
I have to ask.
Favorite failure? I have a hard time even calling them failures, because I've had groups that we've started playing and we did a run, and it was great, and then it ended, and it wasn't necessarily that it failed in my mind. It was more just that season was done. So especially for musicians gigging in restaurants, I mean, at least here in Charleston, like, average run time for you having a weekly gig is 6 months. These restaurants flop and change so quickly. They want a new sound, they're going to rebrand, whatever it looks like, they close down.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the opportunities that, people I've played with, I'll have a gig for a few months or maybe a year if I'm lucky, but then it's done. And it was a great experience. So I have a hard time imagining it being a failure.
Right.
But yeah, definitely got a number of those that have ended.
Yeah. Sometimes you're right. Sometimes a gig ends and it's not it's no fault of yours either.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't get to control these things. And I've been in bands with people that really take it personally when it's like, I think the part that causes it to be taken personally is when you have one of those gigs, be it a weekly residency, a monthly thing, whatever it is, an ongoing relationship with a club, and then it ends. I think the personal part of it comes from the expectation that it would never end. And I've been running businesses since I was a kid. They will always end. It doesn't mean it's easy, but things have a natural evolution, and that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so good.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, sometimes a gig ends. Okay, so this is great. Lots of wisdom here for people. I like this. Okay, so you've got an audience of over 8,000 people, and you've had 250,000 streams in the past year. I have a feeling I could guess at an answer to this question, but how that's a lot of streams that's a lot of streams for a band to have in its lifetime, let alone in a year. And my guess is you're working on building up from that. So how is that happening? Where are you marketing the band?
Dude, it's been so crazy. I think for us, it's been such a learning experience. Having been involved with marketing, and Josh and I actually have a couple other businesses we're doing on the side to help fund all the music. Part of it is marketing stuff. And so as far as social media and content, that's always been, I think, a strong suit. Doesn't mean we enjoy doing it. Like, I can't tell you how many times he's like, hey, we need this video. I got you. I need you to get on recording this. And it's not my favorite thing to do, but the value of it is so incredible. So I think that there is part of it of, we kind of have a knack for putting out some pretty decent stuff. At least, we got enough followers on social that it seemed to enjoy it. But then a lot of it with the downloads and the streaming is the label. They've really, they both kind of study and know the markets.
Okay.
They're in communication with playlisters. We have an excellent product because their engineer and mastering engineer are just incredible. So we have a professional product, and then they kind of know the avenues and where to put money. They've invested a little bit into playlist pitching and some radio stuff. And so it's just all kind of trying to do that really efficiently. So it's, I think, been, I would say, mostly the label and their knowledge of how to do it.
Interesting.
A little bit of us trying to, just push content and all that. But yeah, we're trying to figure it out too. So how about you? What wisdom do you have?
No, this is interesting. The playlister thing is something that we, I play in one original band, Bitter Pill. Actually, I play in a couple, but that's the one that has sort of the most, is most current, right? We're actively pursuing things. Whereas like Fling is a band I've been in for a long time, but there's no real push to do anything with it other than write and record more songs, which I love. Like that, I love that for itself. But Bitter Pill is the one that really is out there pushing our brand, and getting included in playlists is something that we have yet to have success with. I don't want to say we've failed at it, although we have. But we will learn. We'll get there. That bullheaded persistence will get us there. But that's really interesting that was the first thing you mentioned your label doing. I realize that's not the only thing they're doing. But in today's world, that is, I think, one of the most important things. Well, and I realize you're not on the front lines of this, but have you learned anything about this getting included? I'm assuming you're talking primarily about Spotify playlists when we're having this conversation, which is where all that seems to happen right now. Do you have any sense of how the label is doing this, or how they go about like choosing which people to approach?
Yeah, I guess I didn't tell the whole story because it actually starts before we produce.
Okay.
Right when we got signed, the label told us, you guys need to write 20 songs. We're going to pick the best one or two. So there was already a sense of, we're going to filter what you have to find the best is going to come to the top. and then we'll kind of analyze what's going to perform the best. So we kind of feel like there are two different approaches we're taking. One is a local audience where we're trying to build with shows and, fun rock, exciting nights full of moments and feels and merch and all that.
Yeah.
That's one side of our business. And the other completely different side sometimes is the digital side, because, people outside of Charleston might not ever see us live. So they have to have a representation of us that's unique to them. And so as we're going through in the studio, before we even start tracking a song, we'll have a day where we listen to our favorite 6. And then the label will give us their impression, which ones they think will perform the best, kind of where we're sitting. And because they've invested the money, we have to kind of accept, like, we're up to your mercy with this, and we're okay with that. We're
sure.
very grateful.
You bought in.
So,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's so that one
I mean,
example.
to say that you're at their mercy, that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah, it's a little harsh.
The other way of looking at it would be to say, we've partnered with this agency and they bring expertise on the digital realm. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to listen to their expertise, because why else would we have partnered with them, right? I mean, you've effectively hired them in a sense. I mean, you've hired each other, but that's a partnership. But to me, that's the way to look at it. I don't know how to do this. You don't know how to do this. The label does. Let's talk to them. Maybe zip our mouths and listen.
Yep, exactly. And one perfect example of this is our latest release called Roses. It's a little bit slower. It's more acoustic leaning, actually more cinematic toward the end. It's different. And we sat on that song for a year, and we kind of always loved it, but it didn't match what we had been producing up until then. And as we've been pitching our songs to playlists, we're learning that we fit the country genre, more or less. Indie, but country, really.
Okay.
And so we've kind of adjusted some of our sound to match that. We intentionally might put a banjo in a song because it's, for us, we don't feel like it takes away from the art. For the label, they're convinced it's going to get us somewhat more of a leg up in some of these streamings. And so it's been an interesting journey trying to figure out, as a producer, I produce a lot of this stuff, how I work with the label to try to craft something that they're going to be happy with, we're going to love. And we love country music, so we're not like,
sure,
sacrificing or anything, but it is interesting. It affects our decisions. And so with Roses, we sat on that because they were thinking this isn't gonna hit. It's not gonna make a lot of playlists. The reason we released it recently was because of a lot of the shootings around the U.S. Oh. We felt like there was a lot of unrest on social media, and we threw it up as an acoustic demo, just like what we did on our iPhone recording, just as a social reel, and got enough response that we felt like it seems like this is appropriate for where we are as a country. Let's produce it. So it was a little bit of a unique situation, and the label was very cool to let us run with it, and they agreed with it, and they've backed it, and it's ended up being great. We absolutely love the song, but it maybe wasn't the same goal as a song that we're trying to grab streams with.
Amazing. Okay, all right. This is mind opening. I don't want to say it's mind blowing, but it's mind opening because you really are treating this as a business. I mean, I know you said that earlier, but you're walking the walk too. Like, this is really, and the amount that you really have an open mind for this collaboration with the expertise that the label brings. And that's the part. That's the part I really love. I want to talk to you about the social media side of things, because that is something that you handle I'll say internally. I realize it's Joshua that is the lead on that, but I want to talk about this because you've mentioned a few things. So we'll do that. The next thing that I want to do is I want to talk about our sponsor. And if you're a working musician or even just a live music junkie, I'm both of those things, you know the struggle of juggling gigs, rehearsals, and all of life's curveballs. Therapy has been a game changer for me, keeping me sane through all the chaos, but finding affordable quality care is not easy. And that's where our sponsor, Rula, comes in. Rula is on a mission to make top-notch mental health care super easy and affordable for everyone. They work with most major insurance plans, so your copay can be as low as $15 or even $0. And here's the best part. You can find a licensed therapist who really gets you and book a session as soon as the next day. No waiting, no hassle. I wish I had Rula when I was looking for the therapist that I work with. It was such a chore to have to like pour through everything and see if they take my insurance and then find the right ones and the whole thing. Rula makes that just seamless. They stick with you every step of the way, making sure you're making progress and feeling better. So whether you're stressing before a big show or just trying to keep the beat with your mental health, Rula's got your back. Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey towards improved mental health and overall well-being. So head over to rula.com/giggab to get started today. And after you sign up, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support the show and mention GigGab as the ones who sent you. I'd really appreciate it. Go to rula.com/giggab and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from somebody who cares. Rula's going to help you. And my thanks to Rula for sponsoring today's episode. All right, Sean. So let's talk about social media. You mentioned that Joshua will call you and say, okay, hey, look, we've got to I need you to record this thing. And you say, yeah, I know. Okay, fine. And you do it. And it works and all that. Or sometimes it works. Like, get to plan exactly what's going to work. But, do you have a system for producing your social media with the band? Like, do you carve out time together and say, okay, we're going to spend the next hour recording all this stuff and then Joshua produces it or however that might work? Is there a system?
That's such a good question. For us, we've kind of gone through different seasons of trying different things. So we had one release come out earlier, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and the label asked if we would. Label's been a part of helping push a lot of this. So they've asked, would you post? I want you to post something every single day, the month before and the month after. That was a lot, trying to think of something.
Uh-oh. Did I lose you? Somehow I lost you. You're back. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. That's okay.
So the label asked us 1 month before and 1 month after, we want you to post something every single day regarding this release. And the whole idea is let's just experiment. Let's try if we can build some momentum on this, if it affects the numbers. And it was so much, especially on Josh, because he's really the one that's over the merch and social media.
Got it.
And we did it, and it was a stretch, and it was a good experience, and I don't think it impacted the numbers one bit. So we learned that as much as that was probably helpful for our channel, it didn't seem to translate into streams. So that was good. That was good to learn.
Okay, but it did help your channel?
I think there was some growth. I think after a while, because every post was on the same general thing, it probably got hidden by a lot of the algorithm and stuff.
That makes sense.
So I think that what we learned from that is let's maximize maybe a week before, 2 or 3 weeks after, take a break, come back 6 weeks, try again. So there's been some of that that we found wasn't maybe worth all of our our effort.
Sure.
But as far as like how we structure it,
that's those mistakes or tuition kind of thing. So there you
exactly,
go.
Yeah. We don't have a calendar set up, and so a lot of times it's just let's in the season, if we realize we're really dry on content, we just need some stuff, then we'll make up a plan. Right now we have a ton of content. We had we played a radio show and we filmed it, and so we have all the music from it, and it's going to go out too. So we'll be able to then edit, make all the content, and then using tools like AI Reels, using all sorts of the remixing features and things, we can use one piece of content and make 6 months worth of material out of it. And that's I think the game is trying to figure out how to simplify. We want professional looking stuff, but eventually we got to be okay with just a talking head on an iPhone, because sometimes that translates to a different sector of your audience. That
transparency, that lower production value, I'll call it.
Yeah,
it has a lot of it comes across as far more heartfelt sometimes, and for the right person that lands. So
yeah, absolutely. And then I think we also are very strategic, and so we're thinking, like we talked about before, this is a business, and we want to be working with other businesses. So, one of the reasons we reached out to talk with you is we want to provide hopefully something that's a great conversation, and we want content. So
absolutely,
it fills both. It works really well for everybody. So I think that we are experimenting and trying to figure stuff out, but that's I think everyone's trying to figure it out. So just got to do it.
You just have to do it. No,
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. We are doing literally the same thing here with Gig Gab right now, trying different things with our, we've got the core content here on the show, but we want to expand the audience. There's no reason not to want to expand the audience. And so we're really focused on Instagram right now. We believe, we could be wrong about this, that focusing on maximizing one social platform before moving to the next one, trying to do all of them at once failed for us. Okay, fine. Mistakes, tuition. Here we are. Now we're not ignoring the other platforms, but we're not focused on them. We're kind of doing the blocking and tackling part of everywhere, but really focused on the Instagram stuff, learning what works, learning what doesn't. I had somebody on the show. I wish I could remember his name off the top of my head. I'm getting over a head cold, so I'll blame that for the reason. But he runs a marketing agency that is for bands, and he's got several levels to the agency, and it was a very interesting thing. But one of the tips he taught us was, don't decide what can go viral. Wait until and so don't boost things out of the gate. Wait until you see what people respond to, and then boost that. And that has been very valuable for us here.
Yeah, and Josh has mentioned that I don't know a lot about this, but apparently there's like a way you can test a reel with people that aren't in your audience.
Yes.
So you can see how it will perform based off different captions, different, all sorts of factors. And you can learn a ton from trying some of those.
Yeah,
those
the A/B
tactics.
testing and all that stuff. Yep. It's all about just test and learn.
Yep.
And watch it has to be data driven. If with one of my other businesses, we decided in 2024 that we were beginning the anti-gut movement because we had relied on our gut feelings about things for too long. It's like, we've got a lot of data. Why don't we look at that and let our guts, let that fuel our guts? Like, that's okay, So, but with social media, data, look at the numbers and believe them, because if you want to grow on social media, you are playing with an algorithm. So, but I like the idea. Yeah, collaborations and stuff. Obviously, we'll happily give you the raw content from this episode too, if you want to do anything with it.
Yeah, and we'll share audience. That's
we'll share audience. Yeah, exactly. That's it's wonderful. Like you said, it doesn't have to be. It can be a win-win-win, right? Like a win for you, a win for us, and most importantly, a win-win-win-win, because a win for our audience, a win for your audience. Like it all works. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
I love it. It is so you are a full-time musician, but Gale Bird is not your only thing. And that is true of Joshua too. It sounds like he has what I'll call a more traditional day job. Is that somewhat accurate, or is he running his own business?
We've shifted. He used to.
Okay.
We have our goal is Gale Bird, or just music in general. But Gale Bird's been a great thing. So we have just tried to use some of our business mindset to also create side businesses that allow us the flexibility and the ability to potentially travel a little bit more, if Gale Bird can do that. So we have a lot more remote opportunities now. A lot of our stuff is on our time. So the goal is that we have things in place to help funnel and fuel Gale Bird. And then hopefully, Gale Bird and music can take over financially.
Sure.
But until then, we can keep our families fed. We can do what we love. And at the end of the day, even if we don't, it's been such a joy to do this, and we've gotten so much out of it. So we're gonna keep pushing it till we can't. or it's not. It doesn't make sense to.
Or it doesn't make sense to. No, and I mean, clearly you have the right mindset to look at this Gale Bird project objectively and somewhat separate from the personal investment in, say, the songs themselves. It's the two. One is, they are part of each other, but they are, Gale Bird is a business. And
I think a lot of that came from just a lot of experience with songwriting.
Yep.
I think a lot of songwriters would resonate with how difficult it is at first to work with other people on your song, because it's your baby. It's, it's something, it's a part of you and something you're wanting to express. And when you bring someone in and give them permission to critique it, it hurts and it's really difficult. And a lot of people, I think, shut down, and it kind of drives them inward to where all they want to do is write themselves. And it's okay. But I think, every evidence would show that using other people to work with is going to create a better product. Not all the time, but it's worth doing.
On the whole, yeah.
Exactly.
No, I think the bands that are, the better a band is, or the better a songwriter is at collaboration, the more success they will have.
I agree. So I think that translates into a lot of our endeavors of, as we've practiced that and kind of had to get over that, it's helped us have less identity attachment to the things we create. And we still love it. We're still passionate. It's still a part of us deeply, but it doesn't have to be the end all be all of who we are as a person.
Yes, right. Mm-hmm. The two things can exist together when necessary and separate when necessary. So,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Amazing. This is such a refreshing conversation. And is it truly just the three of you? Like when you play live shows, it's more than just the three of you, correct?
So I would say at the core, it's mostly me and Josh as far as the driving force of the band. His wife, Melissa, is a beautiful singer, and she contributes so much. She's on a lot of the songs. Just incredible addition. She's kind of started writing a little bit, but they have 4 kids, so it's kind of hard just practically to get time where we can all get together to write. They just had I think Bethany had just turned 1 a month or so ago, so they're in the throes of parenting. So we depending on the gig, we'll do just the 2 of us, or we'll bring in. We've done acoustic events with we'll bring in a cajon and it'll be the 3 of us, me, Josh, and Melissa. Yeah, and then our favorite is we'll do the full band epic, feeling rock show where we have, rock organ, a second guitar player, bass, drums, the whole gambit. So we've kind of made it work for different venues, but our favorite is definitely the full band.
The full band. And is the full band the same musicians every time, or do you have like a roster of people that you kind of pick from your first string and your second string depending on their availability for the gig?
Yeah, we have our go-to. We consider them a part of Gale Bird.
Got it.
If there were to be something come up where they couldn't play, we have other friends and musicians that could fill in, but we have people that we've chosen to be, a part of our little family.
Yeah, so there is the Gale Bird full band
absolutely
lineup that is solidified with the opportunity, let's say, for subs, for lack of a better term.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Got it. That makes sense. And I'm curious now, what instrument do you play?
So on the live show, I'll play guitar and I'll sing background vocals. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Got it. Okay. And do you play other instruments as well? It sounds like
I do. Yeah. So for all the production stuff, I'm on pretty much everything except for drums.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So we have a drummer will come in, they'll track, and then I'll play all the rhythm section around him, and then I'll overdub everything on top of that.
Amazing. Okay, so for the studio recordings, you've got a drummer, you, and then Josh sings. Josh and Melissa sing, and they don't play any other instruments other than their voices. Is that right?
Josh is a great acoustic guitar player.
Got it.
But I'm more familiar with the studio, so typically I'm tracking acoustic.
Amazing.
It's a different world. It's a different stage.
Yeah. No, this is really interesting. Mm-hmm. Not only are you navigating things efficiently, it seems like you're able to do it, I don't want to say without egos, I want to say with managed egos.
Yeah.
Because you know what you're all good at, and you're clearly confident when speaking about your own skills, and there's ego in that, but not misuse of ego. Not ego's not managing you, you're managing it. And I think that's a really it's impressive. It's not always the case when you get a band together.
Yeah, and maybe that's another one of the advantages to us having to wait 15 years to kind of get this thing really rolling. Yeah. And also marriage and parenting kind of help knock down the pride a little bit.
Humbles you a little, yeah. Yeah, well, and I mean, a band is it's similar to a marriage, similar to a business partners, all those things. You learn that there is value in tempering that over time. Yeah.
And I think that has helped. So me and Josh, we have a lot of different skill sets, which we've learned work well together. One of them is he is so good on stage in front of people. He can captivate an audience. He can tell a story so well. So he has that ability, and I'm learning elements of stage presence and all that. I've done it enough that I can get by, but
sure,
he shines. Yeah. Whereas in the studio, he does great as well, but I shine. And so I think realizing those differences allows us to be teachable. And so he teaches me, ways I can help engage people more from the stage. And then I'm producing him vocally in the studio, helping him craft the sound of the voice and all that. It's teamwork.
Yeah. That's fascinating. Okay. I love this. Yeah. I like what you said. You shine in the studio, he shines on stage. And being able to recognize that, that I think that it's a really important thing. I am thinking, of course, we're all egocentric at the end of the day. So I'm thinking about my own experiences and the times when I wish I had been able to realize that about a project I was in. Like, oh no, let that guy shine. I told this story recently. I was in a band years and years ago. It was a band called it was either called the Responders or Route 66, depending on what year it was. But this was like 20-ish years ago. And our bass player was a guy named Jimmy Ward, who was the bass player and co-songwriter in the 80s hair metal band Steelheart. And they had huge #1 hits, and Jimmy was the bass player in this band. And when the band played sort of with the normal lineup, we all sang lead on different songs because it was better that way. None of us was a killer lead singer, and so it's better to mix things up. And we were having fun, and we entertained and all of that stuff. But then occasionally our friend Ricky Castillo would come in and be our lead singer for the night. And the first time that was invited in, it was like, wait, now he's sort of suppressing all of us. And I heard Jimmy say to him, "Oh man, Ricky, I love it when we get to back you up." And it was like, oh, wait a minute. I just learned a thing from this guy, because here's this guy who's, toured the world, written #1 songs, done all the things that we might have on our checklist as 15-year-old musicians. He did them all. And yet here he is having the objective sense to be able to look at this and say, that guy is better than any one of the rest of us that's singing lead and engaging that crowd. So my role changes, and now I'm here to back him up. And it was like, oh yeah, man. Like, okay, right, got it. I got it. Okay, I need to swallow a few things and get on board, right? but like, that's a valuable lesson, and being able to take that with you, I think is what can open up success. I think, candidly, that's the thing that kills a lot of really good bands in their like late teens, early 20s, because everybody wants to be the star.
No, absolutely. I think it goes back to that pride thing. I know college me didn't do well with that in jazz school. I was the individual trying to prove myself rather than a part of a group. And it makes everyone suffer when you don't have that mentality.
It makes everybody suffer. And it's really difficult to get over that hump. So yeah, fascinating. Love this. Okay, so we like to talk about gear on this show because
I love gear.
Great. Okay, so let's do a little bit of gear gab. Either in the studio or live, or both. What are some of your favorite things to use? Pedals, microphones, plugins, effects, all of the above. What comes to mind? Yeah.
I'll start with my baby. So I've got in 2000, I guess it would have been 2007, Guitar Center did a collaboration with Fender, and they made a custom Strat that it's chambered, not with the F-hole, just chambered. And I was up in Chicago, and this is my senior year of high school, and I played this thing in Guitar Center. I was with my family on vacation and just fell in love with it. It was the first time I felt like I played a guitar that sounded like some of the people I listened to and grew up idolizing. And so I fell in love with it, and then I put it back, and I went on with the rest of the vacation. Well, come to find out, my parents had gone back, bought it, stuck it under my seat in the van because we were driving back from Chicago. Sitting under me for 16 hours was this rose red telly. And they gave it to me for my birthday / Christmas / graduation gift. And that has been just such a special guitar to me. I grew up playing it.
I'm looking to see if I can find this thing here. Yeah,
it's the telly, not the Strat.
It's the telly, not the Strat. Yeah. Okay,
but it just has been a huge part of Gale Bird's sound, and that's just been that's my go-to. Anytime we're playing a Gale Bird gig, I got my telly out. And I have a couple other guitars I'll throw into. I've got a baritone that I'll play on some songs and stuff.
Okay,
just change it up.
Sure.
But if you don't mind, can I say something on my Christmas list this year?
Of course you can. Yes.
Okay, two things. I've got way more, but I'll give you two. First, I go through a Kemper rig, and so I've been so happy with that, just not having to deal with analog pedals and patch cables. That's been the biggest blessing. Just switching over to digital, I get consistent sound.
Yes.
So I went Kemper, didn't go back. And so I've got a rig, but I can't fly with my rack. And so what I want to get is the Kemper stage because I can throw it in carry-on. So that's on the Christmas list. And then I want to get a really decent playing mid-range telecaster and install a Hipshot B-bender on it. I feel like getting the pedal steel sounds incorporated with Gale Bird will be really unique. And so I'd love to get a full-in routed Glazer, the Brad Paisley B-bender installed, but those are a little out of my price range right now. So
is that this thing? This
looks like it. Yep.
String bending system. Okay, all right. I don't play guitar very well, so I would certainly never be aware of this. But yeah, okay, very cool. We'll put a link to that in the show notes. Yeah, for people. And then you said the Kemper the profiler stage is what you're looking for, just to really kind of dial things in. Yeah,
exactly. Yep. Something I can fit in my carry-on. It doesn't have. I can't go into like a cabinet without another amplifier, but I don't think I need that.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Okay.
That's it.
There you go. Yeah.
How about you?
Oh man, my I haven't thought about gear that I want. That's interesting. Man, you put me on the spot. I love this. I can't
believe you're content. That's amazing.
Well, no, I'm not content. I think the problem is I don't know what I want. So I have. I'm still in search of the perfect ride cymbal, as I'm a drummer, and what that cymbal for me would be is something that has a nice cut, a nice wash, and isn't too loud on stage. And it's possible I have this cymbal. I was thinking about this the other day. I have this old 20-inch K ride that I just use here in the practice studio, and I record with it, and it sounds great. And it might actually be what I'm looking for, and I've had it since I was like 18 or something. But and I might actually load it in today for the gig that I'm I'm doing just
should,
to try it out.
yeah.
I know. Yeah. So I had this thought over the weekend, like, is that my cymbal? Like, is that it? I have this beautiful pasty dark ride that I love. It's a little too washy. Sometimes I'll put some moon gel on the cymbal itself and sort of dry it out a little bit, and then it works well. And I got a Gretsch Brooklyn kit about 2 years ago that I use occasionally. I'll probably use for this Beatles gig that we're doing. I still need to load up the car. That's going to happen after we record. And I'm still trying to figure out what heads are the right heads for this drum set to really make it sound the way I want it to sound, to be comfortable to play and all of those things. So, yeah, I don't know.
Love it.
Yeah. And what I really would like, okay. So I also become the de facto sound engineer for a lot of the bands that I'm in. Even if we have front of house, I'll be the one that interfaces with them. Sometimes we have to do our own sound. Most of the time we use a splitter snake so that we do our own monitors on stage, and then and then the front of house can do whatever the heck they want. And I would love the Behringer wing rack.
I've got that on my list too. I didn't want to say it because I'm not passionate about that.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the wing rack would probably be the next thing that I would like to get and use here, because it's compact, but it still has all the things. I'm currently using, and I love it, the Mackie DL32S is the one that I'm currently using. And I really love that. I wish that Mackie would keep iterating on it. It's great for what it is, but it doesn't have any of the connections, like, if I wanted to do AES or Dante or anything with it, I can't. Whereas the wing rack, has all of that and more.
Hey, and they upgraded the preamps. Yeah, it's a great piece.
Yeah, I haven't used it, so I can't speak to the preamps. I actually really like the preamps in the DL32S, and does the SE have? They've got the SE out now. Maybe this is what I should look at, but I don't think it does Dante. I don't think it has any of that. No, it still doesn't. So, yeah. Yep. Anyway,
that's awesome. Yeah, we're looking at that. We want to get an in-ear mobile rack unit that we can use to be consistent for us.
I will tell you, people are sick and tired of hearing me say this, except for the ones that haven't moved yet, and then they're super on board with it. But having our own monitor mix on stage, we use a splitter snake.
Yep.
I bought a really inexpensive one from a band called ProRec. It's a 16-channel splitter snake. I think nice. I paid $120 for it or something. Like it. When I bought it, I was like, okay, I'm the dumbest guy in the world for waiting 5 years to do this, because I had all the expensive parts of the gear. I just didn't have the splitter snake, And but whatever, it's fine. The second best time to do it is today.
That's right. Yeah. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that has made such a difference, because we just show up. I think part of why I didn't want to do it was I have to set up the drums, and now I'm like point man on that too. I always like gigs where there was somebody else doing sound, because I didn't have to worry about any of it. And I thought it would take us longer, because, I can train the band to do some of it, and I have, but still, like, ultimately, if something's not right, it's my responsibility to figure it out. And I got to bring it and pack it in the car and all this stuff. It has cut down our sound check time by 30 minutes, because there's no more of this, each person going around saying, hey, can I have more of this, less of that in my ears? We all mix it ourselves, and the mix is set from where we ended the last gig. So usually we don't touch a thing.
Yeah, and maybe some people don't realize, but that 30 minutes could have been detrimental to the set if it's so full of stress of trying to get it, rushed in. Oh man, we had a gig recently. We played. For us, it was one of the bigger gigs we'd ever had, And that's what exactly happened. We went for an hour trying to get ears and tech issues figured out, and all the stuff we had wanted to do. We wanted to go in the green room and take a second to think through the set and
Yes.
go over it, to just
Chill.
decompress for a second.
Yeah.
Didn't get to do any of it. And we got through it, but I just can't imagine how much more enjoyable that gig would have been had we had that difference. One little thing.
That difference, it's such a game changer because it's exactly that. We've gone to clubs, set up and sound checked our ears before the front of house engineer has even arrived.
Yeah, because you're waiting on other people. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so now we're good to go. Obviously, we can't start playing until front of house gets lit up. But that's all that needs to happen. And if it's an engineer, especially if it's an engineer that knows the band, we do line checks and they're good. We don't, you want us to play half a song for a sound check? We can, but we already did that and we sound great, But, and being able to do that lets us be the ones to solve any of those weird, is there a gain issue? Did something happen to the bass rig where, he added a 15 dB pad that he didn't think he accidentally did? That we're not dealing with that in the pressure of sound checking the whole band. We're just doing it ourselves. And he realizes it before any of us say anything because he's hearing it too. And he just fixes it. Or if I've got, something, it needs to be phantom power on the overhead. Okay, let's do that. Fine, whatever. It all just kind of happens now because each person really, truly can be responsible for themselves, at least as far as line checks go. But that's huge. Yeah. And now we know everything works. If front of house doesn't get something, we can definitively say, you have something plugged into the wrong input. We'll say it maybe a little less aggressively than that, but we know that it's good up until that point. We've troubleshot everything else, and that they love it too. It's like, okay, great. I know where to look. So yeah,
absolutely
saves a lot of time. Yeah, it's great. It really put that on your your wish list too. The ProRec thing. I'll put it in the show notes so that we can. Splitter Snakes, because they do a great job over there at ProRec. It's an interesting brand. They're a budget brand for a lot of things, but I've tested quite a few things from them, including a full line array PA system, 3,000 watts that costs like $650 for the full thing with subs and everything. So they're an interesting brand. Anyway, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you spending an hour with us today.
Yeah,
what an amazing
it was wonderful. I enjoyed the conversation.
This is great. Yeah. And thank you for all the great insights and advice and just perspectives. Really valuable stuff. Where can people find you, my friend?
Easiest place to go, galebird.com. GALEBIRD. It's going to have all of our content. You can go to any streaming platform. We'll be there. Great. But galebird.com.
Galebird.com. And I folks, I encourage you to check out some of this music. It as Sean has indicated, it is varied, but it all has this cohesiveness that clearly is Gale Bird, and the harmonies especially really sold me. That was the hook for me. I was like, okay, now I'm in. Now I can listen to the rest. Now what else is going on? So yeah, I know you sing. I assume that's the three of you that sing well together. Yeah, really, really well. The time you spent in college learning how to sing together pays off today for sure. Yeah. So. Thanks for hanging out with us. There is one thing that we like to say at the end of every episode. I can certainly say it, but three words that we like to leave as a reminder and inspiration for whatever it is we're going to do next. So, Sean, if you would do me the honors, I would very much appreciate it.
Absolutely. Guys, always be performing.
That's it. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. Make sure to visit giggabpodcast.com if you've got questions, feedback at giggabpodcast.com. Thanks for hanging out with us for the last hour, Sean, and everyone. What a blast. And always be performing, folks. We'll see you next week.